Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another recap review show here at Big Old Belt Media for Power Book 3, A Raising Kanan. This is season 4, episode 5, The Nail That Sticks Up. This episode aired last Friday, April 4th. Yeah, I know we're late, but we're still here to do what we do. This episode was written by Brian Walker, along with the man himself, Sascha Penn, and directed by the shooter herself, Cierra Glaudé, which is a combo I always look forward to, and obviously a name that I'm always excited for. And then it's episode 5. So much like you all have already said and reached out to us, it's one of the best episodes this season. And without a doubt, even though we're late, we want to make sure we give you our thoughts about it. We were on travel, a lot of fun, and then some recovery because traveling and travel logistics and all that other good stuff. It's a lot. But we did watch the episode. We did put out our interview with Party, who plays the character Birilla. Even in those circumstances, I couldn't technically do the interview, but the good folks at Stars took care of us and got our questions asked to him. So yeah, check that out. But let's get into it, and let's just get right. Let's go right on the deep end here. We lost Famous, and I think when we watched the episode, and when we watched it, and obviously we were together, so we didn't get a chance to. We got a chance to talk about it, but we obviously didn't get a chance to record it. First thing I believe you said was there a body?
Exactly. Exactly.
But let's just go. Let's just talk about Famous a little bit. I you know us. I mean, you've been watching us since season 1. You know, I've been very pro with the character Famous. We always talk about the song "Streets Need a Body." Yes, we know Sean and the rumors that potentially Kanan named his son Sean after his best friend. So, like, you know, the story arc and implications was there. Breadcrumbs was there pretty early. But let's just call it what it is. When Raising Kanan first came out, Juke, Famous, and Kanan, like, this was a trio that you just instantly bought into. Very different dynamics. 2 characters we knew where they ended up, and another character that was just honestly refreshing. So the fact that Famous died, I have to be honest and say I was a little upset about it. Not upset because it wasn't good storytelling, but upset because I like the character a lot. And Antonio's really cool. We met him a multiple of times, and he's definitely the life of the party. There's a good chance his shirt is going to be off by midway of the party. Not even midway, about 10 minutes in.
Quarter through to the party.
Yeah. So he's a great guy, and everybody knows a lot of his previous works as well. So I was, as a fan of him and as a fan of the character, I think he had and it did a hell of a job on it. I just was like, damn, man, my guy Famous, man. Like he got the 411, got Streets Need a Body. He took Juke off Bad and Bougie. Like, it's crazy. Like, I just couldn't believe how this went. But in all power fairness, we haven't seen the body. But the mom identified her. So there's so much to really make it is and speculate, as we always do with this stuff. But just for you, with it being official that Famous body was found and that Famous is dead, what's your thoughts about it? And then the biggest question of them all is, who do you think did it?
Well, just the way they presented. One, they opened the episode up with a montage of young Famous. So at that point, you knew he was dead. Like, it's no need to guess here. The moment they opened up with the montage of young Famous, you knew he was dead. But just the way they presented him, his body, I'm not sure if anyone killed him per se, because Famous was dealing with a lot of demons and he was dealing with a lot of regret, and it looks like a crack house and everything else, and he was shooting up, and you know how addictive that type of lifestyle can be for someone who's trying to escape everything that they're going through. So it's very interesting to see the way they portrayed this, and the way they showed it through his mother's point of view was very interesting, and not his sister, who we saw at the beginning of the season. You would have thought anyone they would have showed it through her perspective and not the mom. So that was just a gut-wrenching hit that you take, and you notice that, man, from the kid finding his body under a mattress like that,
Yeah.
man, that's again, this is a hell of a way for Famous to go out. But again, it's a chance someone did kill him.
Mhm.
We don't know because everyone thought Famous was snitching.
Mhm.
Because everyone thought that, you gotta wonder, did that lead to someone wanting to take him out?
Any just wild guesses on who would have had the motive to do so?
Well, it's this woman who speaks very prominently when she talks about Kanan and Kanan. You got to do this, Kanan. Kanan. So the first person people would think did it would be Rock. Like that would be the first name that comes into your head would be Rock doing it. But I believe it could be Snaps and Pop who took Famous out
Yeah, it's a good
because he
one
was a
there.
threat. And they are not the type to let threats sit around.
Yeah, he's a snitch. He's talking, and that's a
Yeah.
liability for a lot of folks.
And people don't wait to find out if you're snitching for real before they
Yeah.
act. Once you're labeled a snitch, you're always going to be a snitch.
Yeah. A lot of people thought Kanan, and I was going to kind of wait towards a little bit later in our recap here, but I think by
You get it,
Kanan's
man.
reaction, I think we have to take him
Yeah.
off the board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was not Kanan at all.
Yeah.
That hit him like a gut punch.
Yeah.
But
And
I
then
think
I saw
people
that.
only thought that. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think people only thought it was Kanan because of the last interaction they had with one
Mhm.
another. But that interaction wouldn't have been the reason for him to kill Famous.
Yeah. The internet was also saying they think it was Marvin, and I really didn't correlate why people were taking a picture of Marvin. It looked like he was kind of holding his hand up near his shoulder, and for whatever reason, they were like circled in on it. It was like it was Marvin. Anyway, we're live here, so you all are watching us. Don't be shy. Let us know in the comments, and obviously we can read this in real time here. So if you have theories, definitely be a part of the conversation. But
But
I
if it's
didn't see
Marvin, it's Rock.
Marvin, huh?
If it's Marvin, it's Rock.
That's no, it could be Stefano too. If in all honesty, because he kind of had him working in the as a hitman, but I don't see why it would have had any relevance to that part. I see Rock a little bit, but I don't know. And then again, it could have just been an overdose. It could have just been led through, a self-inflicted dose. Who knows? Honestly, it's crazy because the last time we seen somebody on that stuff was Jannar, and he was in the back of that vehicle, doing something strange.
Doing something strange for a hit.
Yeah. And I've been pretty pissed if they had my boy Famous out here.
People still ain't figured out the body Jannar took out in the car. It's crazy. But Famous already gone.
But we're gonna see. And then when you bring up Jessica, I also think that that should bring Jessica back in town, considering that. I will say, and talking about the beginning of this episode, and honestly, a lot of the episode getting to see their backstory, because the Figueroa family, because from Jessica to his mom to Famous and their abusive dad, you see them essentially have to get up and flee, leave everything behind in order to protect him. And why that is what any mother would do or would do. Understanding at the same time too that it was protecting herself, because who knows what an abusive man of that sort would do. Want to hit your son, definitely don't have no problem hitting the wife, his mom in that case. And the sister's right there too. So, we do get to see a side of determination from the mother that you tend to appreciate, because for every single time we've seen the mother, it was more or less in the like a Famous get it together role. But it was, I thought, as much as we got the flashback about Famous, just really understanding the household he came from, and what all they've been through, that measure of resilience that they've been through, and in order to stab the father, Famous giving him the middle fingers while they fled off, and going to a shelter to completely start from nothing to where they're at now. And even a mom who was very open about being scared and having nothing. I 100% thought they did a fantastic job in building up the emotion to the end. And I'm gonna let you get in there, but the one thing I do want to say is that they did such a good job in the beginning doing this that not even seeing Famous' body still hit just as hard.
Yeah,
because they did a great job in building that suspense. But I have a lot more to talk about there. Let me ask you really quick. When you saw everything that they've been through, that family, did it enhance your thoughts about Famous, or did it change your thoughts about who you sort of preconceived notions of who he is in the family dynamic?
it enhanced the tragedy of his life more than anything else. Because if we paid attention to it, Famous was always happy-go-lucky at times, it seemed. Like, nothing bothered him, and you kinda wonder, why did nothing bother Famous? And you get to see in the flashbacks, it's because everything he went through. Everything else
Mhm.
was a breeze at that point for him. And his mom was his sister was super protective of him. So he had it a little easier after they left that situation, which led for him to be more susceptible to getting involved in things that he shouldn't, because they coddled him after that. Which
Yeah.
rightfully so, any mother would. Like, you leave that type of situation, you're gonna be coddled. So it just gave more perspective on who Famous is. So then
Mhm.
you get to go back to the first season, your first introduction of him, and you get to see why he seems to be so susceptible to things. And
Yeah.
it's because he was raised in a household where he didn't have to be the grown-up man because of the situation they left.
Mm.
Like, a mother's not looking for her son to step up that way once her son is constantly abused. At that point, his mom was doing everything she could to still give him a childhood. But in
Mm.
return, she kind of stunted him as a man in a way. And
Mm.
that led him to be more susceptible, be more of the guy who's going to follow than actually put his foot down. Because again, we got to always remember, Kanan literally kicked Famous out of his own apartment. And that's because Famous was not geared or not set up in life to ever put his foot down. He was accustomed to running when
Mm.
things got too hard. So when you see him leave, as they've been talking about this entire season about where's Fame at, Fame's on a run, anything of this nature, you get to more understand why that would be something he would do. Because we
Yeah.
get the montage at the beginning and throughout this whole episode of everything his mom went through and everything he went through, especially that last scene with him and his dad. That was hard to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah. Let me go through some comments real quick because we appreciate everybody checking us out live. We got love coming from the ATL. We send love back down south from the DMV. Appreciate you coming through. My guy Eroski, it got to be Marvin. But if so, how did Raq and Marvin find out Fan was snitching? That's the $1,000,000 question. Nah, that's like a bad parlay question there because the folks down there that already helped you. In all honesty, and all jokes aside, that's why I was also disappointed about the lawyer being killed because his connections and all that he knew and alerted Rock 2 was how they knew. But like I wanted them to explore that just a little bit more. But as you can see from other comments down here, it had to be Rock's lawyer that told Fan was snitching. And then and then I'm sorry, and then this one right here, Detective Garcia is how they found out. I'm sorry, that's a different comment. Detective Garcia is how they found out. That's interesting. But I do think it's the lawyer, possibly. It's my thoughts because he was just that connected. Though I think Famous is dead, the way they set it up doesn't leave me to want it. That's good old Power right there. I think that's Power chapter 3, verse 1. But the body was mangled and only his ID was found on the body. Plus, they're still waiting for dental records to confirm. Now you on to something. I was going to talk about them dental records for a little bit, but well, let me ask you real quick. Who's
But his
infamous for dealing with
did his
dental?
mama didn't his mama ID him?
That's the tug of war battle. The mom seen
Yeah,
him, and the reaction of the mom confirms that that's her son, and that's pretty hard to ever go against.
yeah.
But the dental records, and they can't confirm it. Was that because teeth were missing, or just because it just takes them longer to process
I
such?
mean,
And again, this was like the
it's the
early '90s, so
yeah, it's the early to mid 90s. They ain't coming back in 24 hours like they can now. So it's gonna take a minute.
Yeah.
But it's the identification of the mom that makes you think it has to be famous.
Yeah. Facts.
Like the point that she went there and they pulled back the curtain and showed the face to her.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of weird they didn't show it to the audience.
Yeah, it is. Unless there's like, contractual things. Like, well, we show them if it ain't already been recorded, we gotta pay them for coming up for episode, which I hate even more if that's the case. But who knows? But I'm going with the power theory route that like maybe there is more to come with that. I would hope. And it's crazy that there's been 5 episodes and Famous storyline has been a pivotal part of this more than any other season to this point. I would say how important Famous story has been. You know what? Before I forget, really quickly, Stacy says, "Hey fam, glad I made it." Well, I'm glad you came as well too. Glad to have you here. It's interesting because in watching Raising Kanan, the 2 questions we always ask, 3 questions. Well, I'm sorry, 4 questions everybody always asks: Who's Breeze? When is Ghost and Tommy showing up?
Gonna show up. Yep.
When is Juke going to turn savage? And eventually, when does Kanan turn the page and becoming that person? And it's interesting that 2 tragic events happen, and it doesn't quite show the signs of them becoming who we know them to be. Because Juke killed somebody. She looks very okay. Yep. Kanan lost somebody, and he looks like he's about to be taking a step back from his sort of ferocious side of things. So I love Sascha Penn playing the long game here. Very, very smart of my guy to not rush to the finish line.
We gotta go down there. Toxic key comment there.
Yeah, let me get all these through real quick and then we get back. I hate that Famous died. So sad that we didn't get to see his face in the last episode. Yep. Totally agree. Michelle, salute to you back. Appreciate you coming. Cierra Mosley, Detective Garcia's found out. Comment I said earlier. Trey Mack. There is the crew of the guy Famous shot. They could have gotten to Famous. That's a good point. There we go. I have a theory what a 50-50 chance fam mother may snitch on Kanan and that the Thomas family for justice could be interesting. I say they gave the mother such a prominent spot this episode. Without a doubt, she'll show up. More like the pause thing. We're like, pause was so big, and we was like, we didn't just feature her for nothing, did we?
Yeah.
And just like the other season with the grandma, and we was like, we know that's going to come about. So,
yeah.
Tasaki said, Juke killed Fame because he.
You know what?
Hey, that's the best.
That's
the best theory.
If that was the case, because that remix is ass. He deserved it if that was the case.
That's the theory. That's the theory. We're glad that you have come and hung out with us live. Detective Garcia told Famous mom that the body was mangled. We basically placed the idea in her head. I feel like an okie dokie. Then the final death was coming. I mean, it could be that they got him as an informant undercover, so they don't quite got. Yeah, I could see them playing dirty and having him working against Kanan, which could be crazy. Did mom believe it was him because Detective Garcia said it was him? He was in the building for months. I don't know. I'm just gonna say I love the theories, and that gives a lot of opportunity for where they can go with this. Ronnie could have killed Famous. One last one for Ronnie Myers. All right, let's get back to the show. We definitely appreciate you all with the comments. We'll definitely keep an eye on them. We see any super chats, we'll definitely put those up right away. So talking about the timeline here. So mom did come in that joint and basically said it's been 3 months and still nothing. So that could easily mean that body could have been sitting there for 3 months, or he could have just been doing his thing in there for 3 months. If you watch Snowfall, Peaches is a prime example of one who was low key for months. They couldn't find him. But anyway, cops told her to avert your attention to Kanan, but nobody believes that. Now, Lou and Imani, I'm just going to say this whole episode was about them scouting new talent. I got a little bit more. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute, but I have to give you your props because you called it last week and you said she was nothing.
She's a love interest,
but a love interest.
That's it.
What do you make of it now that it's happened? Like, where does this go?
They're always attempting to give Lou an escape from his family. This is just another avenue to give him an escape from his family. Is this point now he has a woman? They're in the business together, or it could be more cutthroat than that, and she could be doing this to throw Lou off of his game, so she can become the main one. Yeah. Because she knows Lou has an eye for talent, but if Lou ain't on his game around another A&R, someone who's could possibly be cutthroat through the business, you discover the talent, and then I sign them.
Yeah,
like it never. She could be Pebbles. If y'all get that reference at all, who Pebbles was for the face.
I feel like Pebbles gets a name drop like every 6 episodes.
Yeah, because we used to drop her. We named her, drop her for butter. A couple seasons. She could be the new Pebbles. You never know.
Oh boy. Anyway, yeah, we'll talk more about that new couple in a little bit later. So Unique moving around, still doing drops for his baby mom, Pernessa, at her mom's house and whatnot. Now we got OC, who seems to be Kanan's worker, not right hand, but just somebody that's in the system. Good with numbers, as they mentioned. But he wants to know why Kanan is taking cash, because he knows the numbers ain't adding up, and want to know what is his mom going to think, because if it ain't already bad that his mom is hitting him with tariffs and then he's taking money off top.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see the long game of this is?
I think Raq already knows he's taking the money, because how could she? It would be obvious to her that he's taking the money, but this is her giving him a bypass because that's her son. So you gotta wonder, when will this become a problem?
Yeah.
And will it become a problem on his end with Raq, or a problem on his end with Snaps and Pop?
Yeah.
That this money is going up, missing.
Snaps and Pop, because morally they're not going to like how this is being done. Because remember, they already gave him the ultimate pass, and I don't think this is sort of a pass, but this is like almost like in the sense of like young blood. You're not listening. You know, I've been trying to put you on game, and now you're on this. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to break up what was once a trusted resource for him, considering to see how he's moving around. He's already not loyal. It's already trouble in paradise for him and his mom, and they see that as well. And now you're taking money. So now the system and the business that now we had respected, you can't be trusted. It's not good. It's not good, to the point it almost feels like a conversation that will be had, I would say, to the likes of how Quan was sizing up Raq about her being messy, and you know, somebody gets killed and you're just sitting on your hands about it. So gonna be interesting in seeing how they both respond back after being schooled, but that's no here or there. Also, I saw a comment saying, I forget where it's at, about Raq and Marvin killing Famous because he knew too much. I mean, my only thing is, and I'm not here to say one way or the other, but they went after Terry when he knew too much and he wasn't doing right. So, and they showed that. So I'm just wondering, why wouldn't that have been the scene they might have wanted to show? And did they not show it because of the time jump? I'm not sure, but we'll see. We'll see. I also don't see Marvin. I don't know Marvin doing it, because it ain't Raq doing it. But I don't see Marvin do. I don't know. I don't know. Next we get Juke, and she meets up with homegirl Mara, who basically lets her know that, you know, in terms of her husband or partner, whatever he is,
her husband,
that they thinks it's a robbery, which basically clears Juke and Marvin for their doing. But then she suspects her in not such a super suspicious way. She just was like, my mind is just racing all over the place. It's very coincidental that it gave you the address and it happens the same day. But like once Juke said it wasn't, it seems like she might have been just okay with
it. Up.
Do you think Mara's going to be a problem down the line?
No, because she wants Juke. So because she wants Juke, she's going to forgive anything Juke said.
Can I ask you a question? How old are the two?
We're not gonna have that conversation about this clearly grooming aspects of what she's doing to Juki. Okay. I thought about it the moment they went to the club together, like, oh, this is a little R. Kelly-ish to have this grown-ass woman try to groom Juke. Singing her ignition as they sitting around the table. Like, come on, though. Like, this is it's a little iffy. Because Juke is supposed to be what, 18 or 19?
Yeah, something like that.
And this woman had a whole ass husband. She gotta be in her 30s.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is grooming 101, Joe.
I
told you. Raising Jukebox about to get real serious now.
You're right about that. If TV wasn't the way TV was, I think they would have pulled the trigger on the Raising Jukebox series.
Yeah.
After season 2 and just let them run parallel.
Because I think they realized like they got a star in Haley, and you could have ran these shows concurrent to one another, and it could have been very good just to show one focusing on Juke, one focus on Kanan, and them interconnect at certain different points in time because they are family.
And when I say television, I meant like premium television, because you see stuff like this on regular TV all the time. Like 911 now has 3 spinoffs. The Rookie had 2 spinoffs. I mean, just any show that was doing good, and after like the 2nd or 3rd season, I'm like, all right, now we need to run another one. I mean, all the Chicago Fire and all of that, shout out to my man Phil Donlin. But like, they just do it, and it's just good synergy. And I think they easily could have did something with Haley and lock her into her deal, because she is a star, and it's just but that close until something happens, and and then after that, her availability, I can see not being so open. But I think everybody's really loyal to Sascha, which is good. Yeah. Everybody likes his work, and and I'm sure
Plus, we don't know what they may have lined up. We don't know what they may have lined up. Maybe they don't want to spin off a Juke show as a kid, but maybe you want to spin off a Juke show once he separates. And then you get a whole different avenue of seeing Juke turn to the character we know. So you never know.
True that. Yeah.
But right now she's being groomed by a grown-ass woman. But other than that, we got to see what happens.
Talking about the music in this episode, because obviously Imani and Lou was scouting for new talent. And I gotta say, I thought the music was pretty dope. And shout out to DNA.
Finally, we got bars.
Shout out to DNA, man. Hey, throw some W's in the chat for DNA, because not only is he just just a talented person, but like all he contributes to the Power Universe, especially Raising Kanan and his recap montages, not ciphers, what do you call it? His rap recaps that he does that be on point. Nominated for Content Creator of the Year. I think he won it alongside of what's his name? Lou, that be doing stuff as well. But like to do all that and to be rewarded with now his 2nd episode, I think that's really, really dope. So shout out to DNA, who brought the real bars in for this episode. Thought that was really dope what they did. And they had a cipher, should I say.
Be Realer better get a better song quick.
Yeah, so listen, everybody know Party's talented. They are writing this character to the point of making him not good, so that we understand what could come makes sense. Because that's the question I asked him. I said, how's he going to respond? Because they're looking for other talent. Is that going to be a little bit of intimidation, or is he cool because the team's going to grow? And
Lou got Onyx in the wings right now. He got that posthumous famous album about to drop. Now the famous dead, you already know you're gonna get Life After Fame.
That postmortem famous. You
about to get that show, Joe.
Life After Death.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get that. Give
him the Biggie intro, that Live Your Life. Doom, and the year famous come in. Telling you.
Oh boy. So Marvin and Juke have a small conversation on what happened, and we talked about it, but like Juke is okay.
Yeah,
she's very much okay. So there was nothing to really dive into that deeply. And Marvin, I think you recognized it. even to the point where he was like, well, maybe it's the military. She was just like, no, if it's anything, it's you. So
Yep.
she basically said, this is in my blood, you know, so like, I'm all right. And I want to ask you, do you believe her?
No, absolutely not. This is just one of Juke's covers. I mean, Juke is very great at hiding her emotions and hiding her true raw feelings about things. So here she just puts it on Marvin when we know what it is. Like none of us is crazy enough not to know what it is with Juke. Not in this situation. But again, it's just this is Juke being Juke here.
Yeah.
Like she is a master of that. And I don't know who she got that. At times you try to wonder exactly the personality traits that Juke has and who did she get it from. And
I can help you.
It's Raq.
Yeah, I'm about to say, don't forget who else raised her.
And this is just one of her abilities is to hide that truth away from Marvin. Because in a way, she's afraid of him knowing the truth.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, in the end, that's still his daughter.
Yeah. All right. Moving on now. Marvin and Raq, they go to see David looking for Terry. David missed the slick talker last episode, but they're not playing. And David realized that things are heating up, not looking good for Terry, which we know later on. Famous did come to Juke and Kanan to want to get Famous mom, came to Juke and Kanan to sort of get just to ask questions. Where's Famous at? And there was nothing suspicious about this scene to me. Even when they got the family emergency and they stepped off, I didn't feel like that was like, I felt like that was all handled very respectfully. Obviously, we know what the call was about, but like anybody getting a call when your best friend's mom's there and she's pouring her heart out trying to look for a son and you're able to dismiss yourself, that might be a little like, I don't know, one might even say some measure of remission of guilt. Suspicious for sure, but like, I thought how they did this scene was done well, that we realized that there's a family emergency. It was a no-brainer to me what this call was about.
Of course.
And 100% was accurate to that. So we'll talk about that in a minute. We get to see young Famous, and this is when Famous got to bring home the dog. I think this was just showing just the type of heart he had. He was hiding the dog in his closet because the dog followed him home and he wanted to give him a home. He didn't want to leave him. So I think this is, again, building up the emotional value just to say, like, you know, this isn't somebody who will hurt somebody. This is somebody that would bring a straight home dog and take care of them, just to give them a lot of heart.
If you had questions before this scene, if Famous was dead, this should have answered it. He brings home a dog. The mama let him keep the dog. You knew they're like, if they ain't pulling at every heartstring humanly possible for you to really feel this emotional connection to Famous here.
Yeah.
I mean, other than him being dead, what will be the point of pulling this many heartstrings in this episode? Like they laid it on thick for you to feel everything for Fame this episode.
Oh, no Diddy. Lay it on what? Crazy work. I did write in my comments. I said, what do you think the flashback meant? And ultimately, what do you think it did for the show? And I think you answered both of those.
Yeah.
So Unique now goes to the Irish pub to see Phil Russo. This is nothing but him trying to gather a team to go against Stefano and Raq. And they say, yeah, get your shit together and then we'll talk. But as of right now, you got nothing. Yeah, this is just about as good as the Wizards trying to recruit LeBron that year during free agency. It just wasn't happening.
See, you said the Wizard, and you said Wizards, and I thought Wizard, and I thought Wicked, and I thought trying to recruit Elphaba because he tries to do that, and then she tells him no. Then she sings her little song in it. So I was really confused where he's going here, but that's where my mind went to is Wicked with the Wizard, not the Wizards and LeBron. But I will say this: he said something very interesting in this scene right here, because this is the scene where he says Raq tried to kill him.
Yeah, and they said there's been nothing that leads to that.
What makes him think that? Again, this is the head issue problem that they talked about.
Yeah, you can call it that, but I'm not
forgetful minded. Because other than that, it makes no sense for him to say Raq. No, your brother did that to you. But remember, again, power does not introduce anything into this world without it having to pay off later. That very short scene with the doctor saying it's going to change his memory and it's going to change his attitude. So in his mind, he may think at this point Raq is the one that tried to kill him. Even though the audience knows otherwise. But just think about all his movements is set up like he thinks Raq tried to kill him.
I have a comment. I think maybe we were put in a ditch and our memory is messed up, because what is interesting about how they're handling Raq and Unique right now is either one of them are being like realistic about the questions they should be asking. Like Pernessa's been getting money for months and not once did she even look like, oh my God, could he be alive? Or even him thinking like maybe she didn't kill. Like they're very much with blinders on in terms of what they think are over and over and over. There hasn't been once where Raq has had a question that has led to her thinking suspiciously that it could be Unique, when there's so many clues right in front of her that screams Unique.
The baby mama either. Someone's randomly dropping money off to you and you don't think it's your son's father?
I mean, I mean, well, I'd like her explanation better than her asking the right questions and not just being hell bent that it is Raq and I know it's you and blah, blah, blah. It feels like kind of talked herself out of that after they finally met after months, by the way. But I don't know. It's just like, I don't feel like they
feel guilty. Raq ain't feel guilty about anything she's ever done. Why would this be the point where Raq would feel guilty about killing somebody? Absolutely not. It makes no sense. But again, they're setting it up because no one's asking the obvious question.
Yeah, no one's asking the obvious question. Yeah. I don't like it though. I feel like I would like to see suspicion be
because it gets more to a point where you have to question everything at that point.
Yeah.
Like, hey, everybody, this money's constantly being dropped off magically. And who's dropping it off? So you go see Raq, and Raq says no, but it could be one of his guys. What guy? She remembers the way Ronnie took over that operation. None of them guys would care.
Yeah.
So then the question would be, who would care enough to drop off money to you?
Yeah.
It would have to be him, because there's still nobody. No one ever discovered a body on this man.
Yeah.
How is it that Unique's body went missing and no one questioned it, or no one's questioning if he's still alive, but Famous went missing and everyone just thought he was snitching? Like, it was obvious he was snitching. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, put two and two together here. Sometimes the obvious answer is right in front of you. There's only one person who would take care of your son.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Juke and Kanan got the call because grandma fell and they called an ambulance to get her to the hospital. So Raq and Quan is continuously dogging her, but much like I said earlier about Quan letting her know that, like, you're sloppy about your business, and the increase is the increase, and you just deal with it. Get yourself together, Raq. It is the nice way of how he put it, and get out of my face. He also said, I hope you're a better mother than a business partner. Jesus Christ.
He tried to do that, but then he got the answer from Raq, which is very much, nah, fuck you. I don't need you. Because she was very adamant and clear here. Oh, you're not the only game in town.
Yeah.
I don't need you. This is like Trump with the tariffs. Hey, you're gonna take the 20%. And Raq, like China said, nah, I'm not gonna take this 20%. Fuck you and your 20.
Yeah, in fact, the prices went up for us too.
Exactly. But again, this is just a weird back and forth because he just doesn't like Raq. That's all it is. That's it. He just doesn't like Raq. That's it. Her business is sloppy. Like, he says this like we don't remember Unique's business.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. He says it's like we don't remember how sloppy Unique's business was. So you just got questions here about this.
Ooh, this is a good question. It comes in as our first super chat tonight. And I want to make sure I pronounce this right. How do you think you say that?
Oh my.
Molem's talk. Oh, I super botched. Help me out there, Jesus. But the question comes in is, does he still have a brain injury? There's a moment where he apologized to Phil for not listening to Sal, which tells him he is able to recall past events. Whew.
But that's not always remember, that's not fully the way the brain works. You can remember certain things, but you may not be able to remember everything. Or sometimes it can, because again, that's why you got to always go back to what that doctor said. I want to say he said something about forgetting stuff, some memories being distorted, and his anger levels going up and down.
Yeah.
So he can remember everything that happened to him, but have a horrible recollection on who did it, which would be crazy. But in the game of memories and how this works with the brain, it wouldn't be surprising. Because one thing that people got to always remember, your brain, just like anything else, will protect you from certain things that you don't want to remember. So it's much better if he paints the person who tried to kill him being someone he saw as a foe than that person being his brother.
Yeah, my comment is yes, he still does. Does he still have the brain injury? And yes, because production wise, when you hear that sort of high pitched screeching noise where he was in the car where he starts banging, I think he did it twice in this episode. That is, I think that's sort of the production cue of letting us know like he's having an episode. Now the question is more or less not the question, but I guess the question is like, it seems that it's being triggered through high stress and clear denial. Like whenever the plan doesn't go the way he wanted to go, the frustrations build. Then he goes out, he starts kirking, and then that happens. So, but how much more of that can he withstand is the question.
Yes.
So it's gonna be interesting. But I definitely appreciate the first super chat tonight. That was really nice.
It's a dope question because it brings up an issue with brain injuries that we don't talk about a lot, or the brain that people don't talk about a lot, but we hear about it all the time. How people can remember things in an opposite way to help protect themselves even more. Like again, I've seen enough episodes of Law and Order where the victim was assaulted by one person, remembered a completely different person doing it, but then you realize they did that because the person who actually did it was like a father or a brother, and they pushed that out their mind completely. I think the same thing is happening here with Unique. Is he can't remember, or his brain doesn't want him to remember his brother did it to him. Instead, it gave him a different foe altogether, which would be Raq.
Yeah. So at the hospital, we learned that Grandma Joyce needs around the clock care. And no one's signing up for that. Lou was like, absolutely not. So our goal is to hire somebody. We get Raq, and she's still working a deal with Hafiz. So we'll see what happens with that. Which is, her threat to Quan is, there's another supplier, and she's trying to procure that with her being the supplier. Shows you, young guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Marvin now with Grandma, and they're having a really, really deep moment because she's essentially asking him to
end her life.
Yeah, to end it.
Ooh.
What did you think about this? And
it's one of the you about to finish your thought?
I think that might just be the thought. It's ultimately, what do you think about that amount of pressure?
It's one of the realest. It's one of the realest scenes Power's ever done, because that is a thing that is presented to family, loved ones all the time. When you have that relative that is at that point where they're done fighting and they want to be done with the pain, and they's like, I want to go out on my own terms. This is what Dr. Kevorkian, like, this is why his case was in the media so hard back then is because it was assisted suicide is a thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes people would lean on their loved ones to do it for them and say, just give me enough so I can just go to sleep and I don't have to deal with this anymore. It is a hard thing to have to live through, a hard thing to have to see. And I just love the way they approached the scene with the mom first talking very sweet to her oldest child and telling him just how strong you are. Like, I'm proud of who you are. And then to ask him the ultimate thing for him to do for her. And that would be to end her life. Like, that was a heck of a scene, a heck of a moment between those two.
Yeah.
Right there. Because again, you realize just how deep and just how just heartbroken Marvin has to be to even hear his mother ask him to do that.
Yeah, it's I mean, your mother, whether you have a good or bad relationship, being asked to euthanize her is just unthinkable. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So OC gets rolled up on with Unique, and he just starts whistleblowing to the end of tomorrow. Like let them know everything.
As a guy who's not that tall, this is why you don't trust short people. You can't trust them. Can't trust them.
Honestly, it's because
under 5'2", they don't like life and they can't be trusted. Nope.
He's actually just having a hard time dealing with the mold in Kanan's apartment. So in fact, I kind of like sympathize for him a little bit because like it's hard out here,
You talking the mold?
I'm pretty sure he was saying mold, right? When he was sniffing, he was pretty sure he was when he was sniffing.
Now, I'm dealing with pollen.
When he asked for tissue, I think he said it's the mold. I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
He ain't tall enough for the mold to reach him.
Nah, bro. You saw Famous apartment. That thing had mold, probably asbestos, and all that in there.
Well, his little ass need to go somewhere else.
That's probably how Famous really died, to be honest. So it came out there and
black mold,
all those contaminants in there. Jesus.
That's the projects in the 90s. Them kids built different, Joe. Like, a little mold ain't gonna take you out. You be good.
But asbestos will the silent killer out here. Anyway, so Pernessa asks us to meet with Raq. They meet, and she's just asking about the money that she's been getting for months. We already talked about that. Marvin goes to Terry. Listen, Terry, zero fear, zero fucks. Marvin killed him. I think Terry was more scared of his wife than he was of dying. So
yeah,
it's crazy that Terry has one of the coldest deaths we've seen in Power because he did not care. I did not think dude was built like that.
Yeah, it got fed up to the point where he just like, you know what? Do what you got to do. It's a chance he didn't think they would do that because he still think they need you.
Yeah,
it's like, nah, you got a brother. Like,
yeah.
Once we kill you and he takes over your business, he gets to understand that we would do the exact same thing to him.
Yeah. Which he already showed he could be bought by the money that Marvin gave him before. But anyway, so Imani and Lou hooks up because she lured him into her bed by asking Lou, do you want to see my vinyl collection? Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you have been lured into anyone's bed by means of, do you want to see my vinyl collection? Please identify yourself in the chat right now.
Everybody falls for the candy in the white van once in a while. You can't help it. Everybody got something. I think we were in Vegas for our other business thing we took care of, and we literally had that conversation with a bunch of folks, and we said, what is in the white van they could get you? For Lou, it was vinyl records. That's all it took. That's all it took.
I don't know why I remember that conversation. I clearly didn't give an answer. I have no clue what that was.
You gave an answer.
Yeah, I don't know.
We all gave answers. But for Lou, it's clearly vinyl records. That's all it took.
Well,
because I ain't never had nobody say, "Look, do you want to come see my vinyl?"
But after that, though, she started like basically telling Lou, I done scraped your Facebook, called the FBI, know all about you, even asking about Jessica. And it doesn't seem like, well, one, Lou says him and Jessica, that's over with.
Yeah.
Which to me tells me that it's not.
Yeah.
Since Lou is so predictable about everything. And very intrusive for her to do that. But it didn't brush him wrong like it would brush me wrong. So curious to see how it's going to go. And I know it could be one way of saying like, oh, that's going to make him not trust her. But I also just think that once Jessica get around, it just doesn't become such a focus anymore, because 100% after hearing about her brother dying, she has to return back from Cali, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it works. Let's go to our next super chat. And well, there's no surprise with this one. HFG, welcome back each and every week, always showing love. Do you think Raq will believe Marvin when he says that he had no choice but to delete Terry? She already suspects him of lying and going behind her back. Do you think Raq will believe Marvin when he says he had to? You said Terry, and I ain't gonna tell you that my mind. Let me tell you how crazy my mind just went. When you said Terry, I thought Terry Silver, and I knew it. Did you kill Terry? I was like, oh, that's not the yeah.
This whole time we've been saying Terry, my mind goes to Terry Silver.
Yeah. That is an interesting question. And it's really interesting because they have not really played up on this. They laid enough little sprinkles of it. And now that it's about to be episode 6, the second half of the season, 100% time for them to start playing into that. So do you think Raq will believe Marvin when he said he had no choice? I think her antennas are going to go up, and I think there will be followed by some questions. And we know Marvin is not good with handling things on the fly, because the last time she kind of questioned him about, I seen with Stefano, he had that big sigh moment of like, whew, because one more question, he probably would have been tripping over himself. So
not only that, but Raq has had her businesses hit how many times? And no one knows who's it by. And you're teaming up with Stefano. Could this be a play with Stefano for my business? Are you working with Stefano? We know how Raq thinks here. So this could cause a huge problem, because Raq may be like, no, you didn't, because Raq was very adamant. Don't kill him because we need him.
Yeah.
Even though she's gonna think Marvin's incompetent.
And not Marvin being incompetent, because he's been so damn good all this time. But I don't know. It's a great question. HFG, we always appreciate you. I can't wait to revisit this question next week. Definitely think we'll get an answer then. If not soon. So anyway, so now we go to the liquor store where I saw a little kid still in the 40. You all seen Ghost. Somebody in the chat right now.
Wait. Excuse me.
Well,
so what Ghost? I'm hoping no one is telling me that they saw Omari's ghost in this scene here, like he was still in the 40 from the liquor store. But again, this is just another great part to just to set up exactly finding Famous's body. I think that was the most important aspect here, is that you had to find or had to get a link to get to Famous's body. Was it a weird link to get to Famous's body? Absolutely. But in this situation, they had to portray it that way because I guess you just needed another party to find out exactly what was going on here with Famous, and just to get somebody else to play that grand role of being the person who finds out exactly what happens here. So again, interesting with the little kid. I would have never in a million years thought the little kid was Ghost. I know we're not talking about Tariq's daddy Ghost.
Ghost St. Patrick.
That little kid was a little too dark to be Ghost.
When theories get thrown out there like this, make my whole internet drop. The crazy work out here.
Ain't no way, heck, that little dark skinned kid was Ghost. I mean,
Yeah,
granted, no, absolutely not here. But again, it was just an interesting way to reintroduce finding Famous's body. I thought this was one of the most creative ways to do it, also, because you didn't need someone who knew Famous to find his body, but you needed someone who wasn't even in the picture of even being able to discover this body in the alleyway the way that they did. That was very interesting to me.
yeah. I don't think it's Ghost. I think again, Sascha has no reason to rush to that. And then we do have to get Ghost. I'm sure it's going to be at the end of a season, the premiere of Origins, making it connect at the very end, keeping these characters as separate as possible. Because the moment Ghost enters the story, everybody focuses turns to that. No longer about Kanan, no longer about Juke, no longer about Marvin and Lou and Raq. So yeah, why even do that? So no, but the real question nobody's asking is, where the hell is this little boy going with this 40? What he about to do with that?
Oh, you already know he about to get down. He about to get down. Like, that didn't surprise me at all that he was still in the 40. I mean, back in the day, I never stole alcohol because I was way more terrified of my mother than the store owner. But like, I remember being like 12 or 13. Not gonna say how I got it. I remember drinking like a Magnum.
Still reserve.
Nah, Joe, I ain't get it. Still Reserve didn't come out. This is gonna make me sound so damn old. I don't recall Still Reserve coming out till I was like 18. And
what's the
I remember having a joke.
What did he have? What was that? Because I know it. I just can't think of it.
That had to be what's the Blue Bull or Coke 45? It was one of them jokes they had to have.
45.
Hey man, back in the day, Billy D made it like popular. You had to least when you came of age of drinking, you had to at least taste the Coke 45. That was the most disgusting thing humanly possible to drink. Yeah. Back in the day, I know it's back in my day technically, but they used 40 ounces of beer at one time. Like that's
what I was thinking. Old English.
Old English. Oh my god.
Yeah, he drink that. He catching the body. You didn't have to. Yeah, shout out to Famous on that one. The streets need a body, and that little boy was going to catch it.
Hey, that's what them 211s when them jokes came out, Joe. Absolutely not. Them jokes had people who drunk 40 ounces being like, nah, I ain't touching that.
Jeez. All right, let's get to the rest of this episode, y'all.
40s in them little fancy mugs when they used to drink beer. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Back. I tell you, I want a Lou story one day is how my father had a beer refrigerator in his apartment in Southeast. And when I say a beer refrigerator, I mean he had a refrigerator in the kitchen, and in the dining room was a completely separate refrigerator full of 40s. Oh man.
But anyway, so the kid steals the 40, runs back to this crack house trying to escape. And then little boy sees a body, and it's a body under the mattress. We next go to the scene of mom identifying the body. No dental records, as we mentioned. But she sure it's him by his reaction. But listen, y'all know us. As I said, no body was shown to us, which means we ain't 100% sure that there is a death on our hand. I also want to remind you all and take your attention back to let's see, season 3, episode 5. There was this other character that died, and then he went away until the end of the season, and he came back,
and now he's crazy.
Yeah. So could it be the recycle storyline of now you see me, now you don't?
Even that, they bring Famous come back out with a hat track. The streets think I was gone. They ain't catch this body. And then you just you get to Puff, Lou yelling like Puff over the record. Take that.
Actually, now he really can talk on that gangster shit because he lived it now.
Exactly.
That's crazy. The streets thought they caught a body, not me.
Exactly. Fame become like Nas off halftime or something off of Illmatic.
Hey, so now we got Grandma Joyce. She's in the bed with the nurse. And we obviously can see that, you know, her conditionings are worsening, and she wants Marvin to do it. Marvin looks like he's about to do it, but then he doesn't pull the trigger. And she's just completely disappointed. She is kind of low-key airing him out. But I want to ask you, do you think it was fair for her? And did I ask this already? Do you think it was fair for her to put that pressure? What was this fair? Or ultimately, what do you think? You know, what do you think this is going to do with Marvin? I definitely asked that. Better yet, scratch that, because I already asked this, and I was going to say this later. What do you think this was? Do you think this fair, or what do you think this was to him, and what do you think this would do to him down the line? But ultimately, I will say that, well, one thing's for sure, the therapy worked, because while he wanted to react, he definitely just kind of let things go and left the room.
I would say the better question could have been, and I'll direct this question to you and the audience before I jump in. Do you think her reaction was justified?
Yeah.
Like, that's the question. Do you think her reaction to him not doing it and her response to Marvin, do you believe that response was justified?
Yeah.
And I know it comes across as odd because the way she kind of dragged him for him not doing it, you know, it comes across as harsh. But do you understand her reacting to him that way?
Yeah.
Like, that's the key thing right there. She's ready to go. And she thought she had someone who was going to do it. And when he can't do it, like, at that point, it's just, somebody put a comment, like, she could have gave it to herself. I questioned the same thing, but he had to shoot that into her IV.
Yeah.
That's something she ain't going to be able to do.
Yeah.
Is to do that on her own. That's why she asked him to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of hard to say if her reaction was justified, but considering everything that she's going through, and she thought this was her final way out, and then he can't follow through, I'm going to say a little bit it could be justified, because ain't like you ain't killed other people.
Yeah.
And that's what she's thinking. This ain't something you've not done before.
It's just a lot of pressure to put on somebody that still has to live after this. And that's how I kind of look at it. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of not fair, because, like, you're putting somebody back against the wall for a decision no one preps for. Now you're leaving him to have to think in terms of either regret in either direction going forward. So it is going to be interesting where Marvin goes from this, considering what will and won't. But I mean, honestly, I'll say this: if I was in Marvin's shoes, why would I want to kill our mother? Even if she's not in agonizing pain. That's one thing that we have not seen, is a side of pain from her.
No. She's in pain. She's in true pain. And she brings it up all the time.
You think she's on morphine or something right now?
She is. She actually, what she had was extra morphine. So the thing in her arm was a morphine drip. She's already on morphine. So remember when she talked to Kanan and Juke, and she said, I'm constantly in pain. But she's on a morphine drip. So she wanted him to shoot more morphine into her that would take her out. She just asked the wrong child. Should ask Rock. You asked the wrong kid. Should ask Rock.
Oh boy. All right, let's get down to the last bit. Gorgeous Jessica, you are late. An hour and 4 minutes late, minus my internet kicking me out. It really got kicked out because the Power fan base said that the little kid was ghost, and my internet was like, yeah, we're gonna kick you out for a minute so you don't say nothing stupid. What about if I told you I know who that kid was? Would y'all believe me? Don't believe me, because I don't. just don't. But y'all like theories like that. Anyway, getting down to the end now of this episode. Unique and Quan, because Quan now becomes the 197th person to say, I thought you were dead. You know what's funny? Everyone's asking the same damn question. However, considering that he's not dead and he's back around, how come that news isn't getting around? And you know what else I wonder? Snaps and Pop know everything. How has it not gotten back to them yet? That's what I'm saying. They're being very protective about the questions that are being asked, because Unique is back, but everybody knows Rock's shop is being hit. But everybody knows Unique is trying to go after Rock. How come no one's being able to put this together so that the idea that the information is available? You're not going to tell me that I want to call him Lucky. What's his name that worked at the auto shop that helped him in the beginning? But the guy that Marvin gave money to get information.
Yeah.
You can't tell me he's just the only person that has the information going through the byways here. So like I'm just I would expect Snaps and Pop to have been able to put this together way long time ago.
What makes you think they don't know? He ain't no threat to them.
That's true. He is a small. I did ask him that too. They said they are not worried about that cat.
Yeah,
they
he's not a threat to them. They could know he's alive, and they could not kill us. It has nothing to do with
early.
them.
That's what I'm thinking about. Ken Lucky early. Yeah.
Unless he threatens their business in some way, shape, form, or fashion, why would they care that he's alive?
True. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But the last little thing that happens is Famous Mom sitting on the bus reflecting back to the last conversation that she had with Famous. I believe this is already a scene that was shown before.
Yes,
but if it's not, and if it is a new scene shot by Antonio, I mean, I'm glad that he got to get that moment. It doesn't feel like a new scene. It feels like it's a scene that they just recycled.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's real to think that Famous was a character that we all liked across the board. He didn't make the biggest impact, but he definitely brought something to the show. And I think as much as they hyped the storyline through this 5 episodes, I don't think nobody's sitting here saying good.
Nah.
But
not at all.
I am curious now to see. Now, this is the question I ask you and everybody else. Now, we do know, and every single director and showrunner has all said this. Every single person we've talked to have all said this, that has operated the show. You kill somebody off in order for a payoff for someone else. Yeah. Who do you think that Famous deaths benefits the most in terms of enhancing their storyline going forward? And I call Famous Mom. I think it's going to be a ripple effect. The mom gets involved somehow, and wherever that goes, and maybe even Jessica as well too. But I think the family is somehow, some way going to get involved with things that are just going to become another set of issues for folks out now. And I saw somebody saying, or like I said earlier, they said it might bring issues to the Thomas family. But I definitely do think it's going to just have them more of a mainstay instead of the whole family just being done. So we'll see.
I think this creates the monster that we've been waiting to see Kanan become. And that's what you're about to see here. Yeah. Maybe this is the beginning of the 2 that we talked about at the beginning of the episode, which could be the beginning of the turn of Juke and the beginning of the turn of Kanan. Yeah. I mean, the mom could be a thing because they gave her the Mary J. Blige bus scene. And when you get like that jump, where you can just play like No More Drama in the background, and she on the bus, and like you hit No More Pain. Like when you get that type of scene with the mom, you do know it's going to be a payoff somewhere with that. Now, does the payoff become she becomes closer to Kanan? And that's what makes Kanan a monster that he becomes, because she goes to him to find out what happened to Famous.
Yeah. Or does the mom fulfill Famous legacy, and does the mom catch a body?
I thought you were about to say the mom was about to start rapping. Not Famous mom becoming Mia X out here.
Great comment by Eroski here. I mean, Kanan lost D-Wiz and Fame. So yeah, that's the whole squad besides Juke. So yeah, we're gonna see. Last thing is Kanan got the phone call, got the news. Who I wonder who he got that from. That was not Fame's mom that called him. And I don't think it was Juke that called. My only guess at this rate was OC. That's my only guess. But anyway, he got the news. He lost his best friend. And truly by his reaction, I think it's pretty safe to say that he's hurt. And he did not kill him like some people suspected. And lastly, I'll say I thought this was a solid way to write Famous off the show. I wish we got to see him again one time proper and had a little bit more time with him, as I mentioned. But I thought in terms of a complete arc, great job. And the story continues because even in his death, like I said, it enhances another character's storyline. If it's mother, if it's Kanan, if it's them two working together, as you said, it's going to be interesting where this goes.
I hate to do this to you, because I know how much we hate this, but someone pointed out a big thing. D-Wiz and Famous is gone. The gang is gone. We know what happens when that gang leaves Kanan. It's only another gang. It's another gang that comes in because of that gang being gone. Maybe that's what happens.
Boy.
Famous goes, and now we turn the corner to the next two people who become extremely close to Kanan, which is James
and Angela.
Oh my God. Yeah. So then what happens then? Like maybe this is the James and Tommy aspect of coming into play.
I say Angela, not Tommy.
Yeah. Well, Angela's involved because she's come with James, but
truly Tasha's involved too. But
yeah,
but, I mean, could be a good point. Honestly, yeah. I'll say this. Something I was just thinking. Did Jessica come back and basically fuels Lou to find out who killed her brother? And does that get him back in the game?
That's a good question because Lou's going to be hit hard when he finds out about Famous.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Lou's going to be hit real hard when he finds out about Famous.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. And
it leaves some interesting questions.
And as somebody said earlier, don't forget about the persons that Fame called the body was, which the dude name, I was just Googling it up, the dude Freddie.
Yeah.
Do they come back? Did they come back? Or do Kanan go pay a visit to see what happened?
Yep. Maybe Kanan pays a visit to them.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we'll wrap it there. We came to you live tonight because we had to get this one done, but we're back on schedule for this coming Friday. You all do now see the new release time, which is not Friday, 1 a.m. at night Eastern time, but 9 a.m. Friday morning. So that gives everybody ample time to check out the episode, tune in for our commentary, our thoughts on your way to work or whatever it may be. But it's there the next day. So after you watch the episode, you can just roll over and go to sleep. Unless you're on the West Coast, which is so much more enjoyable to watch time-wise than that 12 here. So, and then episode 6. What do y'all think about this? The episode name is The Price of Fame. I wonder if there's a play on words there. We're gonna see. Thank you everybody that came in and joined us live tonight. Thank you everybody for the super chat. Thanks for the fam that always comes in each and every week. We absolutely appreciate you all. Doesn't even matter when we go live. Y'all always there. Y'all the real ones for real. So, as long as y'all keep showing up, we're gonna keep doing what we do. But that being said, episode 6 Friday, and guess what comes out on Sunday? The Godfather Harlem fans, we got that dropping for you as well too. And if you have not watched Godfather Harlem, go do so. And in fact, not only do that, because I owe you all another good recommendation. Some of you all know, and I know y'all probably like, why didn't we cover it? Dope Thief on Apple is 100% worth a watch. I'm not sure what episode they're on, but Paperboy Brian Tyree Henry is on there. It's a really good show, definitely within this genre. Not just another copy and paste version of something you've seen. It's definitely enjoyable, good watch. But yeah, you got Raising Kanan, you got Godfather Harlem for us covering. We'll be here for BMF. All these things are loading up, so we'll be right back into the groove and have so much programming for y'all here. So we definitely appreciate you all, and just want y'all to know that we got y'all locked in for all the things you want us to cover. But until next week, we appreciate y'all watching. Thank y'all for coming out tonight.
I